everyone. In the process of learning a subject, the most important and first step is to read the lesson, isn't it? In school, teacher makes us to read the lesson once before explaining. But at home, for the students who find it difficult to read the lesson and for the differently abled, we are introducing audio textbooks. These will help you to listen and read the lesson while going through the text. Our state government has provided us with PDF of the textbooks. So let us start reading the lessons. The first lesson in the English textbook is The Town Mouse and the Country Mouse. Let us start reading the lesson. The town mouse and the country mouse were cousins. They often wrote to each other. One day the country mouse got this letter from his cousin. Kitchen Cupboard, Mousetown, 11th March 2012. Dear cousin, I have been ill with cough and my doctor feels I need a holiday. He has advised me to spend a week in the countryside. May I stay with you? Please give me an early reply. With warm regards, yours affectionately, Town Mouse. 2. Country Mouse, The Mouse Hole, Mouse Country. Receiving the invitation from the country mouse, the town mouse packed his bags and caught the next train to the countryside. The day was bright and sunny, and soon the town mouse began to feel hot in the train. I wish there was an air-conditioned coach, he said to himself. I feel very uncomfortable here. However, there was nothing he could do about it, so he grumbled to himself while the train chugged slowly into the country. The country mouse was waiting at the station. Oh, cousin, the town mouse said as soon as he got off the train. The train was dreadful. I feel terribly hot and thirsty. I hope you have something ice cold for me to drink at home. Well, I have some water, said the country mouse, but I can look around for some coconut water if you like. Coconut water? Asked the town mouse in horror. Don't you have any orange juice or lemonade? I'm afraid not, replied his cousin. But I found a very nice piece of root today, and a tender bit of sugar cane. I'm sure you'll enjoy that. Root? Sugar cane? The town mouse exclaimed. But I don't eat raw food like that. The country mouse said, this is what we eat in the country, so I'm afraid you too have to eat this. Try it, it's not bad. The town mouse did not enjoy his dinner at all. He nibbled at the root and the sugar cane and then said he wanted to sleep. The country mouse showed a corner in the mouse hole and said, there you are, you can sleep there. On the ground? Asked the town mouse. Do I have to sleep on the ground? Yes, this is how we sleep in the country, his cousin answered. As the town mouse lay down on the hard, cold ground, he suddenly thought of something. Cousin, he called out. Yes, what is it? The country mouse asked. Why is it so quiet here? Where are all the cars and lorries? Where are the radios and the televisions? Where are all the lights? This is how it is in the country, his cousin replied. It's always quiet in the country. Sometimes it is quieter than today. My grandfather says that our village is the quietest among all the villages in our district. Oh, is it? The country is a strange place, said the town mouse. But he said to himself, I don't think I like this place. Next morning, the town mouse found that there was no breakfast ready. His cousin told him that they had to go to a nearby farm in search of food. We are sure to find something there, he said, a nice piece of root or a tender bit of sugar cane. But the town mouse had enough. Thank you, cousin, he said, but I think I'll catch the next train home. I have suddenly remembered that I have forgotten something. A few days later, the country mouse wrote to his cousin, the town mouse. Here is the letter. Mouse Hole, Mouse Country, 22nd March 2012. My dear cousin, I hope you are well. I am worried about you. I would like to visit you and make sure you are all right. With love, your cousin, Country Mouse. To Town Mouse, Kitchen Cupboard, Mousetown. The town mouse received the letter and read it. Since he was in a hurry, he sent a telegram to the country mouse. Here, in his telegram, overjoyed, Come soon, Town Mouse. A few days later, the country mouse arrived in the town. He was surprised by the noise and the lights. Why are there lights even in the middle of the night? He asked. This is the town, his cousin replied. Here there are lights even in the middle of the day. And what is this dreadful noise that never stops? Asked the country mouse. That is the traffic, the town mouse replied. This is the noise made by buses, lorries, cars, and aeroplanes. But the country mouse did not like it at all. All this noise has made my head ache, he said. Could I have some water to drink? Why only water? Said the town mouse. Look at what there is for you. Ice cold lemonade, orange juice. Which one do you want? Just some water, answered the country mouse. Some water and a little bit of food. I have plenty of food, cousin, said the town mouse proudly. We can eat as much as we like. Sure enough, the house of the town mouse at the back of a kitchen cupboard was full of most delicious food. There was bread and jam, different kinds of fruits, slabs of chocolate, and a huge piece of lovely cheese. Eat, cousin, eat, said the town mouse. But just then there was a sound like a thunder, and the town mouse shouted, Run, cousin, run, run! The town mouse pushed the country mouse out through a hole in the back of the cupboard. The country mouse felt his heart beating very fast. But what is it? He asked. Shh, whispered the town mouse. Wait. When everything was silent again, the town mouse crept out of the hole. He was quite cheerful again. Come out now, cousin, he said. That was only somebody opening the cupboard door. We are safe now. But they were not safe for very long. Twice more, they had to run for safety when somebody opened the cupboard door. The country mouse got quite tired of running and hiding. I want to go back to the country, he said. We may not get much food there, but at least we can eat in peace. So the next day, the country mouse went back to his house in the country, and the town mouse stayed on in his cupboard in the town. And as far as I know, they did not visit each other again. The first poem in our English textbook is The Town Child. Let us start reading the poem. I live in the town in a street. It is crowded with traffic and feet. There are buses and motors and trams. I wish there were meadows and lambs. The houses all wait in a row. There is smoke everywhere that I go. I don't like the noises I hear. I wish there were woods very near. There is only one thing that I love, and that is the sky far above. There is plenty of room in the blue for castles of clouds and me too. Erin Thompson wrote this poem. The Country Child. My home is a house near a wood. I would live in a street if I could. The lanes are so quiet, oh dear. I do wish that someone lived near. There is no one to play with at all. The trees are so high and so tall, and I should be lonely for hours were it not for the birds and the flowers. I wish that I lived in a town to see all the trams going down, a twinkling street that is bright with wonderful colors at night. Under extensive reading in Unit 1, we have the lesson The New Blue Dress. Let's start reading the lesson. When spring came to the city of Cleveland in 1909, it did not change Gates Avenue. People who lived on the pretty streets near Gates Avenue were making gardens and painting their houses. But Gates Avenue continued to look dirty and ugly. Gates Avenue was a short street, but it seemed longer because it was so ugly. Most of the families who lived there had very little money. They never expected to have any more. Their houses had not been painted for many years, and they did not even have running water. The street itself was ugly too. There was no pavement, there was no street light, and the railroad at the end of Gates Avenue added noise and dirt. The other girls in the school near Gates Avenue wore new and pretty clothes that spring. But the little girl from Gates Avenue still wore the dirty dress that she had worn all winter. Probably that was the only dress she owned. Her teacher was very unhappy. The little girl was so nice. She always worked hard in school. She was always friendly and polite. Her face was dirty and her hair was untidy. But anyone could see that she was pretty under the dirt. One day the teacher said, "Won't you wash your face before you come to school tomorrow morning? Please do that just for me." The next morning the child's pretty face was clean and her hair tidy. Before the little girl went home that afternoon, the teacher said, "Now, dear, please ask your mother to wash your dress." But the girl continued to wear the same dirty dress. Her mother is probably not interested in her, the teacher thought. So she bought a bright blue dress and gave it to the little girl. The child took the gift eagerly and rushed home. The next morning she came to school in the new blue dress, and she was very clean and tidy. She told her teacher, "My mother couldn't believe her eyes when she saw me this morning in my new dress. My father wasn't at home, but he will see me at supper tonight." She was full of excitement. When her father saw her in the new blue dress, he was amazed to find that he had a very pretty little girl. When the family ate supper, he was even more amazed to see a cloth on the kitchen table. The family had never used a tablecloth before. "We are going to begin to be tidier here," his wife said. "I am ashamed to be dirty when our daughter is so clean." After supper, the mother began to wash the kitchen floor. Her husband watched silently for several moments. Then he went outside and began to repair the fence. The next evening, with the family's help, he began to make a garden. During the following week, the man in the next house watched what his neighbor was doing, and by the end of the week, the man began to paint his house for the first time in 10 years. A few days later, the young minister of a church near Gates Avenue passed these two houses and saw two men working. For the first time, he noticed that there was no pavement on Gates Avenue, and no street light and no running water. "People who are trying so hard to make decent homes here deserve help," the minister thought. He asked some important citizens in the city to help them. A few months later, because of the young minister, there was a pavement on Gates Avenue. There was a street light on the corner, and the houses had running water. 6 months after the little girl got her new blue dress, Gates Avenue had become a tidy street where respectable citizens lived. When people in other places heard the story of Gates Avenue, they began to organize their own cleanup campaigns. Since 1913, more than 7,000 towns and cities have organized campaigns for painting and repairing homes and making better lives for the people who live in them. Who knows what will happen when a teacher gives a little girl a new blue dress?